The Misadventures of Mr. and Mrs. Pooh. For the purpose of the telling of this story, Pooglish has been translated into English for two-legged monsters to read. Chapter Pooh 1. Born. Mr. and Mrs. Pooh were born in a very special way. They came from a big, hairy, smelly dog's bottom. It was a very smelly bottom indeed. "Phew," said Mrs. Pooh, "I'm glad that's over. It was like a dog's bottom in there." "That's because it was, my sweet," Mr. Pooh said, landing with a bit of a splat. "I'm just happy we didn't get stuck in its tail." They watched their dog, walk away and looked at each other. To anybody else, they just looked like small brown sausages with stumpy little arms and legs. But to Mr. Pooh, his wife looked like a queen, with nice big eyes and lips, while she thought he was simply the handsomest thing in the world. They then looked around in amazement at the little country lane where they had landed. "Where do you think we are?" Mrs. Pooh asked. "I have no idea. Hey, maybe that Pooh over there can tell us." Mr. Pooh pointed to another Pooh, which had also just landed nearby on the pavement. "Great! Another Pooh! Okay, let's go and say hello," suggested Mrs. Pooh. But just as she was speaking, a great big two-legged monster bent down, put the Pooh into a bag and carried it away. It was quite a scary-looking creature, with long arms and legs and a bunch of hair at the top. It looked quite dirty to the Poohs. "Oh, that poor Pooh! I wonder where it's being taken by that big ugly thing," worried Mrs. Pooh as she watched nervously. "I don't think it's safe around here at all." "I think you might be right about that, darling," agreed Mr. Pooh, trying to hide the fear in his voice. "We've spent our whole lives cuddling happily inside a nice and comfortable dog's bottom. But now what are we supposed to do? Hey, maybe we can find another dog's bottom to hide inside?" Mrs. Pooh wondered. "Ah, that's a fine idea." Mr. Pooh gave his wife a big squelchy hug, then shouted, "Look out!" and threw her onto the ground. Out of nowhere, a gigantic pair of two-legged monsters came running towards them. The Poohs froze on the spot, terrified. The monsters were moving too fast for them to get out of the way. "Yuck, dog Pooh!" one shouted as he saw the Poohs right in front of them. "Arg!" screamed the other, jumping over Mrs. Pooh. The monsters looked behind them as they carried on running. "That's horrible! I nearly ruined my new jogging shoes. Yuck!" The Poohs heard them say. "Hey, less of the horrible, thank you. That's my wife," Mr. Pooh angrily shouted after them. That is the end of Chapter 1. To enjoy reading the rest of the Misadventures of Mr. and Mrs. Pooh, please check out my anthology via the link in the description. Thank you.